Welcome to another live stream. Remember, my name is Hans. I'm simply dude of the internet. You need to listen to me at your own risk. Crypto is exceptionally dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So in today's video, I'm gonna get your coins. So show them in the chat. We're gonna look at them all. In the broader market, Bitcoin just had a very naughty scam week up here. Everybody got a little bullish and we just got rejected. Like a simp simping for a hot girl. Down we go. Hopefully we don't close like this. This is a very bearish candle. Overall, the dollar incredibly strong, putting pressure on all risk assets that we in crypto as well. The stock market. Dow Jones down. I mean, this is the transport index. Everything needs to be transported to get to somewhere. All of these things pulling back the Dow Jones itself, pulling back. This is a massive M. This is the opposite of a W. Down we go. The oil also rallying today. That's putting pressure on the transport as well, actually breaking out right now. This is also putting pressure on risk assets. The S&P. So the reason why we look at the macro is unless the S&P puts up a new all-time high, don't expect Bitcoin to really do anything. And unless Bitcoin really breaks the all-time high, we're not going to see those insane gains in the altcoins and in Pulse Chain as well. So yeah, losing this massive run that we've had in the last year, it's very normal after such a massive run that we come back to retest these levels down here. At least retest. This will reset all of the indicators nicely. This is the weekly chart. And then at the end of September, in the next few days, we can have the last quarter. It tends to be really good, the last quarter. And also, it's a pre-election year, so I expect October and the last 3 months of the year to be really well, to do really well. Let's go to Pulse Chain. This is the Ikumoku cloud. Now, it hasn't formed just yet. It's formed here, right? These are two moving averages. It's not really a moving average. It is the difference between the highest high and the lowest low subtracted from each other. Gives you this line. The blue line is 30 periods, so the average of the highest high and the lowest low. So this is the faster moving one. The red line over here is the slower moving one. That is 60 periods. I like to look at the Ikumoku cloud every now and then. We are finally, in fact, above the Kenjin, which is the blue line over here, and holding its support, which is good to see. The last time we had a little bit area above this, we popped above it, but failed as soon as we tested it as resistance. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days above that line. Let's see how we're performing now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the same period, if we don't fall below it here like we did last time just before the SEC dump, it looks pretty positive. And when we get this blue line to cross above the red line, which is above here, this is going to take a little while. That is a confirmed long. And once you get into this cloud, you can expect it to move to the top of the cloud. So yeah, looking good, holding our support. Now we did get a little bit of a rejection just now as Bitcoin sold off. All of the market follows it, right? So I've got the Twitter up here. And don't expect the altcoins or the altcoins on Pulse to do really well when Pulse dumps. It's not really a dump. That's a bit of a hard word. Either way, a slight pullback. We're just consolidating at this level. This is an ugly candle. We were green on the day, but either way, so nothing really to panic about. On the daily, there's no real signs that worry me. We do have hidden bullish divergence on the daily. And I'm just going to remove the Ikumoku so we can zoom in a little bit here. As the price is higher, yet the indicator is lower. You can see it made a lower low. That is hidden bullish divergence. It shows that trend continuation is to be expected. And currently the trend is up as we've got higher lows and we've made a higher high recently, right? Although we got rejected, it is technically a higher high. And with DEX trades, people took trades here, right? There's no way of scam wicking this with liquidations, and because we don't really have leverage trading except for Fame that recently launched, right? So for a little, if you want to trade on Fame, if you don't know how to put stop losses and all of that, don't even listen to what I'm going to tell you right now. So this is where you would put a short position. This is called the Mountain Man. You'd blindly take these 61.8 zones, risk it all to the 78.6 level, and have a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. You can see the 2 over here. That is your risk to reward ratio. So you're going to win double as much as you're willing to risk. You can see the 3% here. That is your stop loss. That means you're going to lose 3% of your portfolio value that you have on Fame. So it means you can't do any leverage because you're never allowed to risk more than 5% on any which trade. That's probably like a 0.2x leverage. And that is what leverage is made for, right? To increase this percentage. Sometimes people take small trades on shorter time frames and they need to have their risk at 5%, and that is where leverage comes in. Leverage is not just a gambling tool like some people in the X community will tell you. Leverage is a tool to be used to get your risk up higher. So let's say this risk was 2.5. That means I can use a 2x leverage to increase that position, right? Now, that being said, if you are going to be trading leverage, you're not allowed to have more than 5% of your overall portfolio as a trading portfolio or a leverage portfolio. And that goes for the Little Old Lady strategy as well. You can go up to 10% if that is something that you want to do. But of that, 90% of your portfolio needs to be in cold storage, either staking Hex or on Pulse or holding Ethereum, etc., etc., right? So with the risk management out the way, remember to always play from a position of strength. You need to wait for the market to come to you, and we'll speak about that in the altcoins as well. And don't get wrecked. That means don't risk more than you are willing to lose on these things. Okay, I'm just going to pull up a Bitcoin here so we can see what happens. So a little bit of a relief bounce now on the hourly, as that was a massive scam wick. That's the hourly chart. So let's get to your coins quickly on Twitter. Okay, there's Pure and White. Let's just scroll through all of these. Pulse X doing well. EHEX getting a large rejection. There was a little bit of FUD going around with Tether delisting us or blocking us. On EX, we need this lower high to hold. Please hold. You've got 2 lower highs or higher lows. Incentive token at 1.12 beats PHUX. Let's look at Cake and Granny first, as they kind of have a place in my heart, right? So let's always switch to Pulse because we want to view these things versus Pulse Chain, right? Because we want more Pulse Chain in the end. So Cake had an amazing run thus far. If I put on the log chart, we can just see it's just been really well performing. Do a volume analysis, we can see where most of the volume was traded. It's this red bar, the red line over here. Still a lot more down to go if we want to get to the point of control. But remember, this altcoin is very volatile, very low liquidity, and pretty good if you want to trade them, sell halves on doubles and buy back when they pull back, right? This is the 78.6 level, which is your next target, and the 88.6 level is exactly where the point of control is. So how I would do this, I've already nibbled a small percentage here in the reload zone, and I'm waiting for the 78.6 level to get more. And if it goes down to the 88.6 level, I will dabble my last percentage, and it won't exceed more than 5% of my overall portfolio. Still in a hefty downtrend. Still selling off. We can look at the RSI to see if we're oversold yet. Not yet oversold, but there is bullish divergence here. 39.18, 38. So no, actually it made a new low here. So it's lower and price is also lower. So that's negative over there. So yeah, unless we start seeing higher lows on this chart, there's nothing really bullish just yet. And that's just the nature of the chart. Selling begets selling and buying begets buying. Everybody wants this asset when it prints green candles, and no one is interested when it goes down in value. And you can, that is true for all assets, right? Next, let's look at Granny. Selling off 12% on the day. Let's switch to Wrapped Pulse. So, exactly on the golden ratio, this is the 61.8. Chilling on it now. We've bounced off it twice already, but these are lower highs. This is the 4 hourly, so very short term. If we put on the log chart, we can see it looks amazing, right? And let's just pull back the RSI again. Yeah, not really oversold, just below the 50, no real bullish divergences to speak of. This is lower, yet the price is higher. So there's a small bullish diverge or hidden bullish divergence here. Not much, not enough to reverse the trend, as the trend is currently down. We've got lower highs and lower lows. I think that's that for now. Courage made by Almighty Mexican, right? 4 hour chart. Inside the reload zone, we had a little W here, popped off. Now back testing the breakout level and falling below it. Looks like it wants to go lower. We can do a volume analysis to see. Okay, so below the point of control either way. Needs to go a little bit lower, it looks like. Let's see what you guys are. Let's go through these guys on Twitter first before we get to you guys in the chat. So this guy wants me to take a look at Pure. Never heard of it. Let's see what this guy's following is. Not many followers. Pure. Now, be very careful. This is not an endorsement to go out and get this. This is $100 liquidity. This can be a rug pull. And I'm going to leave that there. It's already too late. You missed the launch. You need to wait for a pullback if you're interested to get this. And it could be a rug pull. So be very careful. $59 market cap doesn't really interest me at all. NFT tokens at Pulse Beats. The mint is now live. Anyway, more shows. Let's see this guy's following. Not bad. Flip says wait token. This is by the 0x token. You guys can stake this to get a discount on onboarding. Looks very nice on the USD value. Versus Pulse Chain has already taken off. It's given you a chance inside of the reload zone once. Didn't really create the nicest W because this V is higher than the second V. Taking off, yeah, can't get it here. It has left the station. Unfortunately, if you wanted this, you need to wait for it to come back into the larger reload zone or the shorter term one. If the shorter term one is inside of the reload zone, yeah, it's not. So I would wait for it to get to at least 18 pulse per weight. Let's look at where most of the volume was traded on this coin. Also at the 88.6 level. No bearish divergences to speak of just yet. Did we have bullish divergence? No bullish divergence. This chart looks really good. I just can't chase it up here. It's a little bit late, right? Safe Mars Pulse. Once again, never heard of it. Be careful with new coins. Loads of rug pulls. There's Safe Mars. Already rug pulled, so no reason to even look at that. Unfortunately, there's no real good charts there. Okay, let's get you guys in the chat. I accidentally closed our pulse screener. Let's get you guys in the chat. UFO to go, what's up? Always first. Dewey Scum, nice to see you. Abit, what's up? Kairos. Just getting back from the gym. Says, come to Shill a project. Leave the ticker for me in the chat so I can get to it. September hasn't been as brutal as it's been in the last year. So hopefully this closing quarter will bring us. I expect the last quarter to do really well. Can you do PSSH? Let's look at it for you. PSSH. Super stake PHEX 19k liquidity, not bad. 14 days old. Haven't heard of it yet. Almost 1 million market cap. So there's no reason to be chasing this. This has already taken off. Let's look at it versus Rapid Pulse. Let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, this is the nosebleed section, right? It's a little bit too late to be chasing it here. In fact, this could just be the top. Let's look for some bullish divergence or bearish divergences. No bearish divergences yet. We can look at where most of the volume was traded. So the point of control is up here, interestingly enough. Very high on the RSI, right? It's not a deal up here. It doesn't mean it can't go higher. It's just a little bit risky chasing it up here because it might just turn and give you a bloody nose, right? Value is down here, 61% down from the top. Value starts here, I should say. Don't be surprised if you come back and retest at this level. This was the breakout point. You can see the W here. Let me draw it in for you. Down, high, higher low, higher high. Retest of the breakout level. That's a confirmed W. Wait for it to get back to these levels to 127 pulse per super stake. And that's where I would be interested in this, getting it here. Nice volume, large selling volume as people are taking profits up here. We can look at the top traders to see if there are insiders dumping. So a little concerned with this guy. Don't know where he got his coins from, but you need to go into chain analysis to see if he may be sent from another wallet. This guy down here bought $2 and is selling 2.4k. I don't know what the fundamentals are. I don't know who the team is. All I can say by looking at the chart is that the value is not here. This has left the station. We need to wait for it to come down here. And I would be interested once you form higher lows and you break above the higher high over here. That's your sign to go long. A little bit late here. So that's what I think about that one. I've been hedging my pulse bag and farming small leverage shorts. Been working all right. Be sure you know how to always set the stop loss first before you do anything. Yo gang, Halgo clean breakout, bullish divs on RSI and retest confirmed. Let's look at Halgo for you. Seems like you know what you're talking about. 9% up. Okay, nice little W here, higher lows, looks good. Now this is the USD value, and we'll look at it versus HEX, right? This was bullish divergences here. As price went lower, the indicator went higher, so momentum was changing, and it's confirmed now as it's broken out. It's confirmed bullish divergence, retest and confirmed. Yeah, so you know what you're talking about. Let's just remove everything. So yeah, it hasn't broken out on the just quite yet. That is your breakout level at 1980. There's a W within a W here. You've got the W here and another one in here. So you've got the large one that hasn't broken out yet. You've got the smaller time frame one here. This is really good market structure. W's inside of W's. And that would be confirmed once you break above 1700. That would probably be enough to get you to break this level up here. Let's look at it versus hex. Now this is versus P hex, right? So yeah, that's a confirmed breakout versus P hex. This was your breakout level here. A little bit late to take this long now. If you really wanted to chase this, you would need to wait for a retest of this level and for it to be confirmed for a breakout. So PX has been outperforming this. Let's look for some resistance levels. And the 0.382. We can pull up the RSI as well. So yeah, this looks good. It's broken out, gaining some strength. I know there's cool mechanisms here to keep them stable with each other. I can't remember it anymore. There was bullish divergences here as the price went lower. Yet the indicator went higher. This is your sign that it wants to reverse, and you've got a reversal now. That's a breakout as well. Looks good. Your first target is the 2K area. And in fact, we can do a measured move to see how high this might go. Right into the 38.2. That's 0.02. So yeah, that's a confirmed breakout. It's not confirmed yet, excuse me. It needs to close a candle up here, maybe retest it and break out. So yeah, Halgo looks good. That's a nice little W. I mean, you're not buying the top. This is the lows. In fact, it made a new low since launch versus Hex. That looks good. Have I checked BCH lately? I can quickly look at BCH for you. Be interesting to see what's going on over there. So having a nice little pump today. Let's start on the longer time frames. And I would like to get the on balance volume here as well. I'm going to clean up this chart to remove the divergences. Yeah, so you've got a nice little W here on the weekly. That's a confirmed W breakout. You're at the bottom of the range, so you're not buying the top. This is a little bit late here. We might have come back to the 61.8. Yeah, okay. We've already come back to the 61.8. That's where you should have had an order at the 61.8. And you would have been a nice profit. This is a little bit too late now. You need to wait for it to come down at least to the 61.8 and maybe get some more at the 78.6 level. It does look like it wants to retest these levels over here. It is currently still in a downtrend on the weekly. So yeah, it looks good actually. I'm quite surprised at how well this looks. Long consolidation, you've got your higher lows and a higher high. All the granny now needs to wait for is for it to come down back into a reload zone, and then she can get some. We can look at the RSI maybe on the daily to see if it still wants to come down. I mean, this is another W. It looks like and it's breaking out now again, so it looks like it wants to go higher on the daily as well. Yeah, and the granny will sell halves on doubles all the way up. Let's look at BCH versus BTC, because if you're trading these, you want to get more BTC as your base pair. It's not the prettiest W on the weekly time frame. Yeah, once again, need to wait for this to come down to at least the 61.8. Bounced off it already, but it's a little bit late here. Needs to come down a little bit more. Yeah, so that's BCH for you. Pulse Wizard says, come check it out. I don't know if there's any one thing you want me to take a look at. Yeah, I'm a Helga fan, 100%. Pulse Kitten is also amazing. I know Pulse Kitten is, what's his name? Hextronaut, I think is his name, is a fan of that. Um, Little low liquidity for something with 940k market cap, so it's going to move incredibly quickly. Let's switch to Rapid Pulse because we want more pulse. I mean, you had this nice little W down here. Not the clearest, but there's a W here. It's taken off, right? So you've missed this. There is bearish divergence forming here, so the top might be in here. As price is going higher, your indicator is lower. But this can easily be nullified as this can go higher here. I just can't chase here. Unfortunately, I've missed this again. There's just so many coins to have a look at. So the overall reload zone is the area in here. You're above that now. On the shorter time frame, it's over here. So no speed section on the short term, very, very high on the RSI, and you're forming bearish divergences. I would have to wait for this to pull back at least a little bit. Come back to your reload zone over here. Just remove everything that's not useful here. Need to wait for this little box here at least. Not the prettiest W that formed here, but still a valid one. Didn't really spend a lot of time here. But one guy with a few $100s can move this price easily. Hopefully there's more liquidity somewhere. I think actually this is the V1, so there is probably a V2 version, PKTTN. And not the coolest sticker. Okay, yeah, there's more liquidity here, so this is just a chart with the most history. So forget that liquidity. This is enough liquidity, right? 22k liquidity. Yeah, so it has taken off. Maybe sell halves on a double if you're up 100%. Wait for this to pull back. Put bearish divergences there. Okay. So that's Pulse Kitten for you. How is famous looking fame? So 40 cents. It needs, let's just switch to Rapid Pulse. Still losing value. I mean, I literally sold the top of this to get my double out. Let's go to the RSI. I'm looking to reload under this. Okay. So the RSI is nice and oversold. If we make a lower low here, that would possibly form your RSI. So it would look something like this. Maybe make a lower low and turn around. That would put the RSI, let's say it goes down a little bit more, but holds this low. That would give you bullish divergences. And we've looked at how powerful the bullish divergences can be, right? And that could be the sign that the low is in for this coin. Still hasn't found its low. So let's see if it makes a lower low. But this is a shorter time frame, right? The daily hasn't printed on the RSI just yet. Let's look at the 12, the 8. 8 is pretty oversold as well. 12 hourly. Getting there. It might have a little bit more lower prices to go, but we will have to keep a close eye on this one. What you want to see is maybe bullish divergences, a nice higher lows, and this would be your signal to go long once you break above a higher high, or once you form a higher high. A little bit early still needs to consolidate or go down a little bit more, just not yet. Not there yet. Let's look at Monad Money for you. Now it almost made a new high. And I'm going to cover all of the Itropo coins for you guys, because I see the requests are coming in for them. Large rejection, the 61.8, it bounced off here. There's no real market structure to go off here. I don't think it's bottomed just yet. Let's switch to Wrapped Pulse. RSI not even below the 50 yet. I mean, we spent a lot of time up here. This needs to consolidate for a while. Lots of hype, still lots of people talking about it. They're still attacking anyone that's slightly bearish. Remember, I don't hate these things. I simply just trade them, and I hope to not really date them, to not get really attached to them. But sometimes that's quite hard, right? As I'm sure the Atropa ecosystem guys have found out recently. This is still a downtrend. You've got lower highs. These are higher lows, but still, unless you make a new higher high, the trend hasn't changed. So we need to break above that level. Bounced off the 61.8. The RSI is still a little bit low, or still a little bit high, excuse me, not even below the 50%. I would love for this to get oversold, right? Your point of control is back here at 1,000, 0.001. That's where most of the volume was traded. This was that massive dip down here. That was the log chart. Yeah, I should probably have gotten some here when I was talking about this in the previous live stream. You can see how powerful the 61.8 is. Not one candle has closed below it just yet. I'm still waiting for this to get to at least. I should really step in at the 78.6 level and get some here. So yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant still. The RSI is just a little bit high here. I would really love it to get to the oversold areas. I don't know if we're gonna get that. Beirut has a lot of sway in this market. He talks about the streams about it and very low liquidity. You can easily move these things. If I just look at the other charts that has moved in the past. So yeah, doing a lot of volume, almost $1 million of volume. Still more selling volume than buy volume. Is there any bullish divergences to speak of? 53.18, no bullish divergences to speak of just yet. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to happen, but I would love for it to do something like that, right? And maybe even a little bit lower, because the point of control is just below that area. Maybe tap the point of control once and make a nice little W. And you can even take the breakout level, like once it breaks above a higher high over here, that would be your signal to go long. So that's Terry Bear. Let's look at Itropa, also getting rejected now. This is the daily. The stochastic crossed above. The RSI looks a little bit better here, 45, 44. We are inside of the reload zone, so I can't fault the granny for getting a little bit here if she wanted to. Can quickly do a volume analysis to see how high this goes. So the point of control is all the way up here. So a lot of selling happened up there. Yeah, the point of control is all the way up there, funnily enough. I mean, the stochastic RSI is crossing up. You're still in a downtrend because you've got lower highs all the way down. And this can easily turn into a W, right? Let me just remove the volume. And I should really look at it versus Wrapped Pulse. Let's just do that. We'll restart this analysis. So inside of the reload zone, can't fault the little lady for nibbling a little bit here, expecting it to go lower to get some more. You've still got higher lows. So this can easily turn into a W. And that would be your breakout level. RSI still a little bit high. Let's look at the stochastic. No, that's the wrong one. crossed bullish recently, but this can spend a lot of time down here. It's not confirmed unless you break above the 20 level. That's what the creator of this indicator said. That is a doji candle up there, one of the better ones that I've ever seen in my life. This little candle here with a long wick and a small tail and a very small body close. So that's a very powerful candle that shows that it wants to go lower. I mean, this is the area where you should have been interested, right? Where you should be interested. No one was bearish up here. Everyone was bullish. The retail was everybody bullish. I mean, there's still some talk about Itropa, but it's performed really well, so that's to be expected. Yeah, the granny can get some here, expecting it to go lower and having more dry powder to nibble as it goes lower. So yeah, I should really get some. Die, P-die, let's switch to Rapid Pulse. Inside of the reload zone, right. We can look at the point of control. Let's just do a random. We're below the point of control just now. And if you start losing this, this is going to float down to these lower levels. The RSI is not bad, but not oversold just yet. It's at 42.41. This could be a W forming here, but it needs to hold these lows. And unless we break above this level, it's not been confirmed. I would have loved for this W if this was a W to form inside of the reload zone. But once again, the same with Itropa. This is where you should have been interested in this, not in the nosebleed section up here when everybody was saying this is going to peg, etc., etc. This is where you should be interested, expecting it to go lower and having more dry powder. I mean, I sound like a broken record, right? But all of these things, it's always the same, right? Getting more when it goes lower. You were very, very oversold at these areas. Bearish divergence all the way up. But you can see how long this bearish divergence took to play out, right? So this is not a sure telling you, right, the top is in here, you would have been left behind. But you're still higher than you were back here when the divergence is formed. Let this come down on the RSI, get a little bit oversold. Let's look at the stochastic to see what it's trying to turn up again as well. Just hasn't been confirmed yet because it's not broken above the 20 just yet. A Monad money, the one you wanted me to look out for. Let's look at the rapid pulse because we want more pulse, right? Let's pull up an RSI. Nothing really to see on the RSI. The trend is up, and that's a massive rejection there, unfortunately. That is a higher high. The trend is still up. Got higher lows. The RSI is just a little bit too high. Maybe you can go to shorter time frames to see if we had divergences. So no real divergences, bearish divergences yet. That's a nasty candle. That is a confirmed M here, but it's already played out. It's measured moves. Doesn't mean it can't go lower. The 1 hourly is oversold. This might just have its day. Maybe this is just the building of the market structure. You still have your higher lows. 4 hourly. Yeah, it's very hard to really tell you what's going to happen here. All we can do is see if this is in value. It's not in value. If you wanted to get some, you need to wait for the green boxes down here. Let me just draw in a green box for you guys. Right, wait for those areas. That is the area of value. You might just, if you're lucky, catch some there. And maybe this performs really well, like P-die and Teddy and Itropa. But you need to wait for that level. Granny needs to wait for that. Looks like it wants to get hit. That is a nasty candle up there on the 4 hourly. Okay, that's Teddy Bear for you guys. Hot Sauce says, "What's up, guys? Which Itropa is the main one B-Roots always talks about? B-Roots likes all of these four that we just looked at. But he likes Steady probably the most. Have I longed and shorted on Famous yet? No. I've looked at it, but every time I stare at the chart, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I need to wait. You need to wait for a perfect time to enter, right? And it's not fun. But you can set orders, right? But I haven't. No, I don't really trade leverage, right? I'm not a day trader. I'm more of a swing trader, like a swing trader. Not even a swing trader is even more shorter term. So a swing trader will take a trade for a week or 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks at max. Like I'm a little old lady. I sit on my positions until I get a double. Sometimes it takes a year, right? And sometimes you get it on the same day. Minu, FPI, and 2CC. Let me just close some of these tabs. So yeah, that's the whole iTropa ecosystem for you. Minu, I need to go a little bit faster if I want to get through everything. So this has already taken off, right? If I see a 3000%, there's no reason for me to be chasing this, right? This is dangerous up here. This could be the end. Nice liquidity, large market cap, 10% of the market cap, so that's not buy. Large buying, very massive wick. I mean, there's not really anything we can do here but to tell you that if you're outside of the reload zone, this is versus PDI. So yeah, all I can tell you, it's overvalued versus PDI here. You need to wait for it to get down to these levels. And if we do that same, I can show you that if you waited for the 61.8 to get an entry, you would have gotten it, right? And even with new coins, you can wait for these levels. So you got a beautiful entry there, and you would have been up. You could have been selling halves on doubles all the way up. That's what you need to wait for. This is dangerous. This is the nosebleed section. You're getting these massive wicks up here. I've no idea what it is. It's got a symbol already. That's interesting. It doesn't mean it can't go higher. I can't tell you how high this is going to go, except maybe we can do some extensions. And you can see that 2.618 got hit, got rejected. And there are higher targets up here. But I can't guarantee you that these can get hit. It's impossible for me to tell how high this can go. We can look for divergences on smaller time frames, but this is not even readable, right? Because the RSI, generally the RSI doesn't print on these things when it's a very high. You see, it's just like this line at the top here when it's a very high coin supply. So we've looked at Monad, we've looked at Teddy. Want to have a look at WePulse? And now people keep on asking for this chart. 16K liquidity, that was your breakout. Target has been met. Still inside of the reload zone, so technically it is value. This is a confirmed W. So you've got location because we're inside of the reload zone. You've got market structure because you've got higher lows and a higher high now. Now we just need to look for the short term and wait for it to get back into our reload zone, because this in the short term is the nosebleed section, but technically still in the overall reload zone. So I can't fault the little old lady, but I would just feel like it's a little bit chasey here. I would need to wait for this level. You can see a few lines already overlapping here. That is called confluence. You've got all of these lines, and then we can do a volume analysis. Let me just pull these things accurately. Let's look where most of the volume was traded on this run up. So that's not going to be pretty. I should maybe do it from the beginning. Oh, that was exactly. So just below it, actually. So yeah, all the granny can do here is wait for her levels to get hit, buy on her lines, and have more dry powder ready for if and when it goes lower. So that's Weepulse. I like this chart. It looks good. It's broken out. It's got higher highs and higher lows. So that's good market structure. You're still inside of the reload zone, so you're not buying the top. I mean, it looks good. I just have to wait a little bit lower because I love cheaper prices. We've looked at. Let's look at FBI. I mean, 2K liquidity. People are still hanging on to the hope that this is not a rug pull. I don't know if it is a rug pull. Rolling over again. It doesn't look good, guys. Sorry for those that are invested in this. That is your last hope. In fact, there's a little bit hope over there. You need to hold these lines. But these are just, I mean, it's just a rolling over every time, each bid. Let's look at the top trader. Hopefully, I mean, someone is selling down a lot. You need to do some chain analysis to see how much coins this guy has left. Maybe he's the creator of the coin. Let's look if we see FBI here. Don't buy Inu. So this guy has extracted 10k and doesn't look like he has a buy. Doesn't look like he has any more coins left. But you need to go through all of them. This is not exciting at all. This RSI is making new lows as well. So momentum is down drastically. Generally, the RSI leads the price, and this has made a new low where the price is still holding up. So there is bullish divergences here, but this is scary. Unfortunately. 2CC. 2 Cent Club. This is also part of the Itropa ecosystem. 5.6k liquidity. Let's switch to Rapid Pulse. Oh, that looks ugly. Need to wait for this to hold. You're not buying the top. I mean, it's always scary getting these things here. You had a little W here. It broke out, met its target, but still continued down here. This is the hourly, the 4 hour. Let's see if we have divergences. Oh, it's still very, very high on the RSI. A little concerning. Let's look at the top traders. This guy's extracted 2k. It's not really any red flags there. The RSI is still a little bit high. I don't like that. The granny can always nibble a little bit and expecting it to go lower, but there's no more levels there to really for her after the 88.6 level fails. This looks like it can go a lot lower, which is unfortunate, but you never know. I mean, this can turn around now. That is why the granny manages her risk. That just means she never risks more than 5% on any which asset. And 5% is quite high for a trading portfolio, so maybe like 0.1% of her portfolio. And if that 0.1% goes to zero, she's fine with that, right? She managed her risk. But if this turns around, and even if it just goes to the all-time high, that's a 10x, right? So that 0.1% turned into 1% of her portfolio, and she's made pulse on the way up. That is the only way you can play these things, because it can either go to zero or it can do a 10x or even 100x. We don't know how high this can go. If you look at the PDI chart, I mean, it spent a lot of time in depression and in death, and then just took off and did insane gains. So yeah, we've done FBI to it the likes. Yeah, I would really appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe if you find this content valuable. Most projects are just burning LP to lock it. Not quite sure what you mean. So we've looked at Weepulse. I'm a bit behind on the chat. Sorry about that. Team Finance offers locks for 150, but they're free at first on Pulse. If they aren't sending to the burn address, they are probably using something like OpenZip and TimeLock.sol. Other chains usually have some kind of service for this. I'm not sure for Pulse. Yeah, Pulse does have. Cake and Gran both have locked liquidity on only moons.io, so you can lock your liquidity there. Also, dude, I got some last night, so that blast off this morning. I need Weepulse and Granny. We've looked at both of them, so and I might be behind the chat. Fame's buying currently major in our bull market. I do think so as well, as trading is very, very popular and very, very risky. Let's, for Mr. Tech Dude, we're gonna look at paper. And what's the other one? Ew. Paper and bear. Let's put on the log scale. I mean, 45k liquidity, 37k market cap. Is this a reflection token that locks liquidity? Because that's a very high liquidity. Someone bought $3 and sold 2k. That's not good. I mean, it's very hard to do technical analysis on this as you've made a new low. I mean, you're starting to create a little bit of a very ugly W. We can look at the RSI for you. I mean, there's not really much I can do here. I mean, it's a flat line. Let's look at the rapid pulse. Very weird looking chart. I mean, I said that about 30 as well, and it just blew my expectations. I mean, this is really not getting me interested, this chart. These wicks are ugly. Wicks and tails like to be eaten, so it's starting to consume this tail over here. That's scary. You don't want this to go all the way down here. But it's that's like a 30% down from here. If you sat through all of this, it's nothing. Unless we start creating a nice little bottom here, I can't be interested in this and create a higher low like this. Maybe create some good market structure first, right? Very hard to do technical analysis on that, so sorry for that, dude. It's not the most coherent analysis, that. Bear, we've looked at bear for you. I hope. Just go back and you'll see we did heck. We did bear, what am I saying? Have you covered Weepulse? Yeah, we've covered Weepulse. What's up, X-Stick? Did you check out Magic? Community seems to be on fire and building stuff. So I've seen Magic going around. I think we've done an analysis on that. Magic corporate right. This is it probably. Down. It's the hourly. Down 24% on the day. Let's just get our fib tool up here. Well inside the reload zone, right? Let's just go to Raft Pulse first. Major run. Let's look at the top traders. So bought 700, sold 3k. So that's pretty normal for someone that was early in this project and he bought quite a lot. You're starting to create higher lows here. If you can pull up the indicator. So no bullish divergences yet. Just normal consolidation. It came down quite low. You do have higher lows here. Let me just remove the volume. That's the wrong one. Testing the lows again, holding up. Breakout level is up here. A little bit early, right? This can continue to go down. Looks very weak down here. Not gonna lie. It almost took out a new low there. So yeah, the trend is still down, unfortunately, for Magic. Um, Not really getting me very excited on this coin. The RSI is still very high on the 4 hourly. On the Is there any bullish divergences to speak of just yet? Let this consolidate, make higher lows. If it continues to defend these higher lows, that would be a good sign. But until then, this is just consolidating here. You're not buying the top. This is where you should be interested if you really love this project and you're part of the community. This is where you should have been interested in this. If it survives, it can come down to retest these breakout levels back here. Right, so that looks like it does want to come lower, down a little bit lower. 9K liquidity, 46K market cap, so the percentage of liquidity to market cap's not bad actually. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is where you should be interested as a granny. You're not buying the top. This is the low areas. Even if it goes a little bit lower, she can nibble more if she's really, really into this project, right? There was no, that was the lows down there. A beautiful little W back there. Higher lows and off you went. You could have gotten a double even if you bought the breakout level. Hans is back. Yes, Hans is back. Looking forward to Operation Whalewater. TSFI and yacht. TSFI down 40% on the day. 34K liquidity. That is a very, very ugly candle. Is that a new low? No, so it held to that. You should have caught that. You could have gotten a double. I mean, above the reload zone, right? Let's just go to rapid pulse quickly. Ooh, that is a new low. That doesn't look good. I mean, who sold that much? 11K. Jeez, nice profits on that one. Some people are really killing it, and some people are getting absolutely destroyed. Above the reload zone, that is a nasty candle. Wicks and tails like to be eaten, so don't be surprised if it trends down here over time. You had this massive value gap that's now been filled almost. Yeah, this is scary. Lower highs. If we go in the RSI, let's see if the daily has printed. Yeah, the daily has printed. Very high still, can spend a lot of time. This tail is going to want to be eaten. Doesn't matter where the candle closes. So yeah, I'll get it down into these areas down here. Just at the point of control holding. Could have gotten a double if you bought the lows. Not in love with this. A little bit scary up here, and it's above the reload zone, so yeah. Yacht. Tangent golden yacht. Wow. Switch to rapid pulse. Put on the log chart. Lots of wicks, right? So people, someone early is trying to exit. Bought 200 up 3K. Is Tangent shilling this in his? Does yeah, he is. Is this part of the Hawa gang? So this is why it's catching a bit. Uh, Let's see if there's more comments here. Genie. We pulse. So yeah, I mean yacht. I mean, what can I say? This could have been the top here. I just don't like chasing this. I would have to wait for a reload zone, and it's already left as it's made a nice little W and broken out. If you want to risk it, maybe wait for the 61.8 to be hit, and maybe it goes a little bit higher. These new coins, they make a new high, they make a high, come back, consolidate, and then tend to make a higher, a small higher high here, just like Grand did, and then consolidates again. So yeah, look out for that. But it's still up a lot. Like you weren't early. And we like cheap and early prices. Moon. Let's look at Moon for you. This has already been... What's the time on this? An hour. I like to keep this an hour long. So if I do miss you guys, there's lots and more. With each episode, there are more and more people requesting. So if you do leave a super chat, it doesn't even have to be a lot. I'll get to you quicker. Because I can see when it comes in. I'm not going to finish the whole chat, and I'm not going to finish the thread on Twitter as well, because there are lots of Wii tokens wanting to take a look at. This is a double top, and the RSI is just going lower and lower. Let's look on the daily for Moon. Not really. The RSI is coming down nice and quickly. At the end of the day, you're not in the reload zone. You're in the nosebleed section still. These are making lower highs. This is a massive wick there, which is a little concerning, or a massive tail. You need to wait for these levels down here, right? And wait for it to get oversold, maybe confirm some bearish or bullish divergences, and that would be your signal to go long. Wait for a W in this area here. It's an ugly W, but I'm trying to go quickly. So it looks like we've done an analysis previously. It looks like I said that it wants to retest this breakout level, well underway to hit those areas. And yeah, that for the short term. And I would need to look at this in the future as well. But for now, that is probably the level where I would be interested in. Point of control is down here. Once again, just follow the granny style. Get her at her levels, small percentages, and have more when it goes lower. If you guys want to learn how to do these things and see what I'm buying, when I'm buying it, and what I'm selling, and early coins that I'm launching, do check out the link in the description down below. You can get 50% off if you pay in crypto. And with that being said, I'm going to finish this. Sorry that I couldn't get to everything, but I'm hungry as well. So click the like button, subscribe, always play from a position of strength. Do not get wrecked, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Cheers for now, and thank you, and bye-bye.